Hi guys, it's me. It's Tiffany. You're here for Tiffany TV. My name is Tiffany Price Murray, also known as TiffanyDIRA, and I am a transformational life coach and channeler of divine source energy. And we are here today to help you heal your life through the stories and insights of my own. Okay, so let's get started. Today we are going to talk about jumping timelines and what that actually means. I want to just start by saying I apologize for yesterday. I do make mistakes. I was a little bit high strung. I was a little bit wound up. My sound was a little bit off. I decided that I don't really like being in my office as much as I like being in my bedroom with my beautiful light, looking radiant and shining. So on the replay, I noticed, mistakes, and you start judging yourself and you start analyzing and you start being really critical. And of course, my immediate response was protect myself and cancel it, trash the whole thing and re-record it. And then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that because I also have complete trust and faith in divine, that whatever and however it was exactly the way that it was meant to be. And that if I make a mistake, I can correct it, like saying 350 instead of 350 million. Little difference there. And also that I can give myself the grace to know that whatever comes of whatever recording that I do is for my highest benefit. And on that note, I'm going to say day one post-election, that in some way, if that election did not turn out the way that you had hoped or anticipated or counted on, that there is some way that it is mutually beneficial, that is beneficial not only for you in your life and beneficial for all of humanity. Like there is some way that it is going to work out in the end. And if it doesn't work out, it means it's not the end. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I just wanted to tell you too that the reason why I was talking about my fake anniversary yesterday was because after all the versions of myself that I have been throughout the 20 years that my husband and I have been together and the 12 years of our fake anniversary, that we continue after all of this time to choose each other, that we keep coming around the circle of the sun, and every single year we still choose one another. And I can't say that that's forever. I would like that to be, but for right now, we are exactly who we need to be for each other. We are mutually beneficial. We are a match to one another, and we are definitely bringing whatever the other person needs as the mirror of life. So on that note, also, because Donald Trump was elected, it means that it is the mirror and the reflection of our collective in humanity right now. The world is, and life is reflecting back to us what it is that we are projecting out. So if we don't like what we see, we need to change what's on the inside of us so that life can mirror back to us a new reflection. I know it's a little bit harsh. It's a little bit of a hard way to learn a lesson. Okay. Also, yesterday, when I started asking myself what I would do if we only have a 4-year cycle left, and I was shocked that my immediate reaction was like, well, I don't want to spend all my time channeling, being in channel, like being quiet and introspective and sitting in meditation. I want to actually go out and live life. I will have eternity to be in communion with divine outside of this body in a different dimension when we go back to oneness. Right now, I am in this life, in this physical body, and I want to experience all the best things that this life has to offer. So yes, of course, I go within, and yes, of course, I connect to divine within me. But I can do that in everyday things. I can do that at work. I can do that with my family. I can do that at home. I can do that on vacation. I can do that right here with you. So the fact is that it shocked me that I didn't say to myself, oh, I want to spend all of this time learning and reading and being knowledged and channeling and holding vibration, which is what I've done basically for the last 4 years. And that was the hugest indication to me that the cycle is ending and that this cycle is coming into preparing us to birth something new, which brings me to my next point. I know that today is maybe not necessarily what some or a lot of people want. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow when you feel as though your life is being directed and dictated by someone or something or some entity that you didn't necessarily choose. But I promise you that there is some reason and there is some thing that is bigger than all of us as to why this is happening, because life does not give us anything that is not beneficial to our growth. So when I talked about set points, this is a set point that is for the collective of humanity. Like this, what has come, the culmination of all of this energy that has been building and the choice that has been made to elect Donald Trump as the leader of the free world is a reflection of our collective humanity at this time. And it is exactly what we need in order to move into this next phase of life. Now, I am not supporting or condoning either way. I'm just saying there is some way and in some reason that it is what is meant to be. Okay, so I have this theory. We're going to talk about timelines. Timelines are infinite. There are all kinds of them. They're literally like a spectrum of vibration of timelines where we live a life and you come and you have birth and you have death at the end of every single timeline. There's a timeline individually. There's a timeline collectively for humanity. There's a timeline for Earth. There's a timeline for our universe. There is a timeline for the stars that are moving around. There's a timeline for the cosmos. There are many, many timelines that exist within time and space, okay? And it's basically that we are moving through these timelines. So imagine you have a line that is linear, and then there are all these vertical lines also that are frequencies of vibrations, which depending on what you're resonating at it will determine the timeline that you follow through, okay? So all of these timelines have different possibilities. They have different outcomes. They have different stories. They have different, they're all a different frequency. It always matches what you're projecting, okay? So because this is what the collective is projecting, this is what we get. I believe that we go through these timelines. So you have one point A and point B, and the point B is when we reach the point where we say, enough is enough. This is the enough point, okay? And I call it like a sliding doors moment, okay? Where you get to that point and you're like, actually, based on everything that I've lived before this moment, I am deciding in this moment, this shit is over. My cycle is over. It is time to level up. I've learned enough of the lessons. Now, between point A and point B, I believe that we go through life in almost like a Fibonacci spiral, or like a sequence where you are spiraling through, and then the lessons in that sequence return around again for you to be like, oh, have I really learned that lesson? Because here I am again, same themes, same ideas, same concepts, same fights that I'm having with my husband, same things I'm fighting with my children, same things that are happening at work, same things are happening in the world around me, same wars we're fighting over and over and over again. And so again, on every single level and every layer, we go through this progression of time, okay? But within that progression of time, between each set point, we go through cycles and we go through these loops that go around, okay? And it's like a spiral. And you're going, and when you reach the point where it's this point, you're like sliding doors moment where you've gone through that spiral enough times that you're like, hell no, I am not doing that again. We're not doing that. I believe in that moment, it's like an awakening, okay? It's like the moment of realization, the enough moment, okay? Where you say, I've had enough. I believe we can have so many of these in our lifetime. It's not just only one. People think, oh, you awaken once, but like you can awaken in every single moment to every new thing and just keep jumping, jumping, jumping. So what happens in your sliding doors moment, your enough moment, you literally decide you're not doing it anymore. That's enough. And then you jump timelines like instantaneously, like from here to here. And you're like, whoa, I'm not doing that anymore. And you immediately raise your frequency of vibration. Like it could be 1 point, it could be 10 points, it could be 1,000,000 points where you literally just go like bam, straight up in the timeline. Okay. And when you reach that higher point, then all of a sudden for your next sequence and your next progression of time, you're on a completely different timeline where totally the world literally can just look different to you in one moment. You could see the same tree in a totally different way. You could see your house in a totally different way. You could see your friends, your family, your work, anything that is around you, even though it appears that it might be the same sort of thing, you are on a completely different frequency in a different timeline where everything from that moment is going to change from that point on. Okay? Now, this is the key. How long is it between set point A and set point B? Well, I believe that there are times where you can, it's like a bell curve, let's say. So there's like a curve that goes up and a curve that goes down between each set point. And what happens is when you go into something new with new fresh eyes, you're really excited and you get all of these amazing feelings and you're like, oh, I'm like moving into this awesome thing and I'm like totally all about it. And your like happiness level is high, 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 high. And then over time, your growth and your lessons that you're learning start peaking, peaking, peaking. And you're like, this is a challenge. This is a struggle. This is harder than I thought. And your happiness level sort of comes down here. So once you get to the point, the curve on both sides, when you're like, okay, you know what? These are my enough points here where I'm done like struggling, suffering. I'm ready to surrender and say, maybe this is exactly where I'm supposed to be in order to learn what I need to learn in order to move into the next point. And then the curve kind of comes down again where your happiness starts going up again and your lessons, you're like, oh, I got it until you meet, bam, timeline jump. Just like that, skyrockets. So depending on how long it takes you to let go and surrender and learn the lesson, how many cycles and revolutions through that same cycle do you need before you get it? How many cycles do you need before you say, enough is enough? This is my enough point. But you also have to remember that like you can decide on this level, which is your individual level, that enough is enough, and you jump timelines. And there may still be a set point on the collective level that is over here that you are still going to experience because you are part of the collective. You are part of humanity. It is a set point for humanity that they are going to experience no matter what, because it is the catalyst for us to decide whether enough is enough. And the growth and the curve that we're learning from that point on, okay, is determined also by the collective. So there are all of these different layers. If you realize sooner than the rest of the people, or you have your awakening moment sooner, it just means that you get to ride the rest of the wave in that higher frequency of timelines, okay? Where you get to experience that timeline in the highest possible capacity, in the best way possible, in a way that is like, maybe it's that you are benefiting in ways that you never thought happen or that you never thought possible when other people are having a really hard time, right? It's because you're like, okay, I get this. I'm moving on. I'm letting go. I'm not holding on to all of this stuff. like there's nothing we can do really about who is the president right now. There's not much we personally on an individual level can do. We can raise our own vibration, which in turn raises the vibration of the collective, because you, one person, definitely impact that. And by more and more and more people doing that, we raise the vibration of the collective so that the collective actually experiences the highest frequency timeline that is possible for them. That's what you can do to change. That's how you can control something that is totally uncontrollable by controlling yourself. And the way that we do this is by going within. So the whole like not wanting to channel or not wanting to spend my whole life channeling is actually sort of counterintuitive, because the only way that we can do that is by going within. And we go within because we can't control the things on the outside. We can't control the external stuff. We go within and we center and we balance and we hold space and we align ourselves and we raise our own vibration so that we can continue to move through time, which is inevitable. We are going to do that anyway, in a way where we can trust what is being guided by our inner higher selves, by divine, and divine will tell us that it's all going to be okay, that there is a reason, that even though we may not be able to see it right now, that it's all happening in some way, somehow, for our benefit. Right? Does that make sense? I mean, I try to jump timelines all the time. I try to say, okay, this is enough. Although I also live through many of the same cycles. It happens. Sometimes even when you can see it straight right in front of your face, you still do it anyway. Even if you know, you can see it coming. You're like, oh my goodness. Here we are again. I'm going to do it again. Anyway, you may feel as though everything is falling apart, but what I'm going to say is that everything needs to fall apart before we can put it back together. And the foundations that we have been building things on for the last ever have been based on the collective's timeline rising up through the lower chakras, through the red vibration root chakra, through the orange vibration sacral chakra, through yellow vibration solar plexus chakra, where we are right now. And we are moving into heart, okay? And the heart is the gateway, it's the path, it's the portal, it's the opening to divine within us. Our heart is like how we access the divine within us. The energy from all the higher chakras moves through us, pours through us, and then comes out this portal of our heart. And in order for humanity, the collective of all humans, to rise up into that frequency, basically everything below it has to crumble. Because we can't build the higher things on a foundation that does not support it. And basically our entire collective right now is based on a foundation that isn't supportive of where we're going. So we have to watch it fall. We have to let it fall around us, but knowing that we are building something new and that something else greater is coming behind it, and that we are going to build a new foundation based on a totally new understanding of red, orange, and yellow spectrum vibrations, that we are through the access of divine, through the portal of our heart, and through unconditional love, we are going to understand our entire world in a whole new way, which I'm super excited for. I hope that you are super excited for it too. If I ever say anything that you have questions about, you can just PM me or message me and I will do a channel and ask divine any questions that you like. Okay, so what is this teaching us? Right now it is teaching us that we do have to go within, that we cannot necessarily trust the external influences. We can't really trust the media. We can't really trust even like, how do you even know what is AI and what isn't anymore? How do you know when people are saying truthful things? Like, I watched a podcast with two gentlemen who I don't necessarily normally agree with, because they are not necessarily in line with who I am or who I feel I want to be in life. And I watched their podcast, not with any judgment, but with an openness, actually, and really with compassion and trying to be understanding and hold them in light and love. And when I was listening to them, I was like, you know what? I could understand their perspective. I could understand where they were coming from, even though they are on the polar opposite side of what I think I believe. So how do I even know what I think I believe? How do I even know who is the right one or the wrong one? I mean, the fact is, we are all divine beings of light, and we are all here for a reason. And God made every single one of us, and God created every single one of us perfectly, exactly in the way that we are, and that everything is mutually beneficial, that everything is here to help us, to show us the way, to see things in a different light, for us to be able to choose our perspective. And if things are bothering us and things are triggering us, what it's showing us is it's showing us what we're still holding on to inside that we need to let go in order to just experience all of life and the beauty that it is. Okay, that's it for today. I'm going to do my channel. I'm going to, let's do a call to action. So, like, subscribe, comment, questions, whatever, share, whatever. But also call to action. I'm going to say today, our call to action is going to be, how can you look at someone or something that you have judged in the past to be a certain way in a whole new light? How can you look at something or someone, an event that is out of your control, or something that has happened that you may not necessarily agree with, but that you can some way sort of see in a new shift and see how it can be beneficial, not only for you, but potentially for all of humanity? That is my call to action today. I would love to hear what it is that you are going to do, or how you're shifting your perspective. Yeah, I love it. Okay, channel. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I love you. Okay. So we're going to ask Divine, what are some of the changes that are coming based on the events of November the 5th, 2024? What are some of the changes that are coming? Let's say in the next, 3 months, because I'd like to give it like a specific. Okay. Divine, we're asking, what are the changes that are coming in the next 3 months after the decisions made on November the 5th, 2024? I call on Divine to be known to me. I call on Divine to be known to me. I'm just doing something. Huh? I'm just doing something.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you were on.
It's okay. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
I am divine. We are one. Trust it is so. And what we would say is that all humans who carry debris within their energetic systems look through the capacity and the lens of the limitations of that system. And what we would say is, the more debris that you carry and the more scars, that you have within this system, the more challenging it will be for you to see through them. It is important to understand that by releasing any of your judgments, any of your attachments, and any of your resistance, you open yourself up and allow yourself to receive an influx of light that is beyond the previous capacity. This opening, this clearing, this cleansing, this release allows for you to receive guidance and insight that will help you not only cleanse and clear in a higher capacity, but also receive the insight and guidance of a higher perspective. A perspective that comes from all knowing, from all seeing, and all understanding. A perspective that comes from beyond time and space. A perspective that comes from the totality of all that is. And what we would say is the more you hold on, the tighter you clench, the more you try to control any situation, the more challenging and difficult it will be for you to move through. What we would say is that things that are out of your direct control are the easiest things for you to let go of. These are the easiest bags to drop. For what we would say is that if this story is not in your direct experience, that is simply for you to be the observer. It is for you to hold space and send light. It is for you to choose from an outsider's perspective or from an observer perspective, a higher possibility and a higher way to view the events that are inevitably unfolding. What we would say is that you are all here at this time by choice, that nothing is being inflicted upon you, that you are here for the greatest growth and expansion of your soul's light possible at this present time. We are grateful for your service to us. And we hope that you enjoy the ride. We give thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Ciao for now. Have a great day.